Everyday Americans are buried in tons of debt from mortgages, credit cards, personal loans, student loans, medical bills, and regular bills. And the total amount owed is always rising. In 2020, it was reported that the average American owes approximately $92,727 in total debt, the highest amount on record in the United States. But who owes the most debt? Members of Generation X own an astonishing $140,643, followed by baby boomers just over $97,000 and millennials with $87,448. Those obligations include mortgages, student loans, credit cards, and all kinds of other types of debt. Odds are, if you're watching this video, you perhaps have various debts to your name. And if you are in a financial dump, the only real answer is to modify your lifestyle to start digging your way out, one step at a time. Why digging out is worth it. Being in bottomless debt can be taxing on your physical and mental health. The concerns over how to pay the bills and the fight to save for the future influences over 50% of Americans, according to a 2020 study. And pressure over money can make it harder to save, budget, or even write a grocery list to aid keep you on track at the store. Getting yourself out of debt can increase your health. Having more revenue freed up from debt may mean better monetary assurance, confidence, and improved chances to save for the future. Financial connoisseurs frequently mention two ways to attack debt: the avalanche method and the snowball method. Both plans might help you motivate your method to repaying your debt. An avalanche tactic means you can settle your finances with the highest interest rates first. You toss as much cash as you can at them and pay only the smallest amount on all of your other loans. The snowball tactic has you pay the lowest amount of debt first and then get to the next loan. Here are some ways to release yourself from the burden of your debt. Face the music. If you have been trying to make your debt vanish by throwing it away unopened, the first step is to admit to your faults. Get your mail and separate all of your loans, bills, and budget. Essentially, all you can have that relates to your finances. The loan payments and the bills for the basic utilities, power, heat, water, and internet, for example, signify your base expenses. When these considerably surpass your net income, you will either have to change your way of life significantly by selling your home, getting a smaller apartment, or taking on a second job, or file for bankruptcy. There can be some other steps you can take depending on where you are, but first, you need a strategy. The journey of repayment. Not all loans are identical. While making your plan, you will need to create a grading among your debts and then start to repay. Specialists say to aim at the high-interest debt first, non-deductible low-interest debt second, and tax-deductible debt last. Speaking of high-interest debt, it's time to remove it from your life. Have a single credit card for emergencies and stop carrying the rest completely. Preferably, you should try to save up an emergency account and throw all your credit cards away. It is time for a cash-only way of life to help you stick to your repayment plan. Get a damage report. The next stage is to check your credit rating and apprise your credit report for mistakes and patterns of bad activities. You can get your credit rating the same way investors and property owners do, from the credit bureaus that report consumer credit. A nice way to start is by observing your credit report and your credit score, both of which you can do for free. Bear in mind, you can only receive your credit report for free once a year. And remember that not all free credit score services are free. Some may claim that you sign on for a credit observing service that comes with a monthly charge if you don't cancel it. When you have the report, check if it's precise and recognize the accounts getting your rating down. It only takes a couple of late payments to change a customer loan from good to bad. If you have late payments on all of your credit accounts, you may find yourself in the red category despite carefully repaying the loans down. It sounds selective, but banks can pay to be uptight because they have a vast pool of customers trying to get a loan. Damage control. Remove worrisome accounts and repay your complete debt on time. Use automatic payments and shorten your budget to get your debt under control. This will retain your credit rating from getting worse and, over time, will expand it. If your credit rating permits it, try to get a bigger, lower-interest credit and combine all your consumer debts into this loan. This will accelerate the procedure of repaying your debt by reducing the interest drain on your costs. Also, if your credit score allows for it, you could consider a balance allocation offer from one of your credit cards. Such proposals can let you pay off debt earlier by moving high-interest debt onto a credit card account that comes with a 0% annual percentage rate and a payment extension period that could last somewhere from 6 to 18 months, depending on the deal. All it prices at the front end is a balance assignment payment that is typically a flat amount or based on the fraction of the sum you transfer, usually 3 to 5%. Just keep in mind that if you don't pay off the balance by the time the extension period finishes, you will be on the hook for high credit card interest rates. Line of credit. If you have a connection to a line of credit, such as a home equity line of credit, you may also be able to tap it to settle higher interest debt. Lines of credit have an annual ratio rates in the mid-single digits, while credit card annual percentage rates are in the 10 to mid-20% range. Be alert that using such an approach should also come with a close investigation of spending customs. Using a line of credit to fund reduced expenditure ways or live outside your income is a particularly bad practice. While it may seem harmless to close one or two credit cards so that you aren't attracted to use them, put them in a drawer as an alternative, because closing cards may upset your credit score. Use multiple shovels. When probable, double up on payments on your high-interest debt. Even if it's not as efficient as merging, doubling on payments can accelerate the reimbursement period. When you've eradicated the highest interest debt, double up payments on the next highest debt. This plan is called a debt avalanche. You'll be reliably snowballing the general rate at which your debt reduces and getting closer to the magical number the bank is looking for before granting you a consolidation loan. And once you get that, doubling payments will make it disappear that much quicker. Radical cuts. Digging out of debt regularly does mean making some hard choices. If you are just too far behind, it can be time for some radical actions. The easiest cuts come in the form of replacements: a walk in the park instead of a gym membership, a staycation during the holidays. Tougher cutting measures can come in the form of selling any non-essential things you can live without. Any cash raised that way should go to the lump sum payment against your highest interest loan. Don't cancel your credit cards when you're in debt. Canceling those decreases the general amount of credit existing to you and surges your credit utilization ratio. Two things that can hurt your credit score. Credit counselor. One clever way in the procedure of removing your debt is to meet with a credit counselor, though this decision is much more useful if you do it before you're desperate. A credit counselor will offer many good guidelines and make sure that you're on the right way to your payment plans. They may possibly offer support when you meet with your bankers, adding some specialized and highly needed help to any negotiating you need to do. That said, be cautious of credit experts who charge expensive fees while going through a similarly big volume of customers. Paying real estate debt. In 2020, the United States mortgage debt increased out into trillions of dollars. If your mortgage debt is too big, there are a few steps you can take to help lesser it. First, if your credit score is high enough, request your mortgage lender about refinancing your mortgage for a lower percentage rate. By doing so, you may be able to lower your payments. Another way to dig out of your mortgage debt is to make additional payments on your mortgage loan. By doing so, you will lower the overall mortgage. If you can't actually afford your mortgage, call your mortgage lender instantly. Ask about working out a payment plan and ask for a loan adjustment. You also could consider selling your home if market conditions are strong and settling your debts. Of course, you'll need to make plans for new housing if you're going this route. Paying student debt. There are numerous approaches for successfully paying out a student loan debt. If you have several student loans, consider refinancing them into one with a lesser interest rate. Examine loan forgiveness packages, typically only accessible on federal student loans or on income-based payment programs. If your student loans are by private lenders, extend to your creditors to see if you can exercise an expense plan with a lower amount of money. Change the terms. This is the time to meet with your creditors. Do your job before you go and be sure to have all your forms in order. If you're working with a credit counselor, plot out your strategy in advance. Go to the loaning organizations with which you have unresolved debts. If you are in debt with multiple banks, start with the one with which you have the finest relationship. Get a meeting and carry your damage report, your new cash-based budget, and a modest smile. Clarify the steps you've previously taken to evade defaulting on your debts and request to negotiate the debt you have at that organization. Now that you have stopped your bad credit habits and can display it, banks will be more likely to help you. You can also pursue expert support in this step by using a debt relief or settlement company. The bottom line. If you can't get yourself out, you may have to declare bankruptcy, which can hurt your credit rating and make you unqualified for loans or credits for more years to come. Furthermore, student loans may stay even if you declare bankruptcy. Yet, you might be capable to climb out of most financial troubles by following the steps we've outlined. For some people, getting buried in debt and having to dig their way out is sufficient to turn them off, creating more debt in the future. In the end, debt can create chaos not only to your assets, but to your mental and physical health as well. Getting out of debt, on the other hand, putting cash aside for retirement and personal investments, and making certainties not to go back into debt are all methods to shape a safe financial future for you and your loved ones. Leave a like if you enjoyed this video and share it with your friends. Subscribe to our channel for more motivating videos and make sure to turn on the notification bell for future video updates. Thanks for watching and see you next time.